6th. When you think of a trailblazer, what comes to mind? A pioneer, an inventor? Tonight, we're launching our Trailblazer series, spotlighting the first woman to break the racial color barrier of public nursing in Mecklenburg County. If you talk with TD, as she's known to most, she'll tell you what she's done and continues to do is simply her attempt to carry on the legacy of strength and courage instilled in her by those she considers most courageous, her parents. Carolina Impact's B. Thompson introduces us to Trailblazer Thereasea Elder.
We were empowered with do what you have to do, and you have to. We always were taught about the future and what the future would hold. And God had a plan for all of us.
I don't feel no waste time.
Who would have known that a little black girl who entered the world shortly before the Depression struck America would become a change agent for better public health? Thereasea, or TD as she's called, grew up in Charlotte's Greenville neighborhood in the 1930s and 40s. Her father worked for a country club. Her mother as the help for some of Charlotte's richest white families in Myers Park. Her parents taught TD the number one thing that mattered most was getting a solid education. For some blacks, help came from affluent employers, but that wasn't the case for everyone.
They didn't care about the people next door to us, but they cared about us. Those were Booker T and Odessa's children.
TD enrolled at Johnson C. Smith University and dreamed of becoming a nurse.
And I wanted to be a United States cadet nurse. I was never really in the actual military, but we were U.S. cadet nurses.
And so TD's call to service began.
It's about the only thing left to commemorate Good Samaritan Hospital, which treated African Americans through the 1960s. It's a plaque outside of the Panther Stadium where the hospital used to be. Where during her post-cadet years, the mother of two and wife began working at Good Samaritan Hospital, helping to deliver babies.
That led to a position in what was then a segregated public health department, one where whites took care of whites and black nurses were expected to do the same. Yet it took a strong will and more than a little courage to tackle one-on-one racism and still do your job. Like going to a beer joint, as she did in then poor, all-white Jackson Park.
They would always say, "You nigger, you, that's a white family. What in the hell do you want with her?" I said, "She's white and she's sick and she needs my care." The first house I went to, the ceilings, they had Confederate flags hanging from the ceilings to the floor. I had to go through the Confederate flags to get to the patient.
TD only knew later that the woman had a gun trained on her the entire time. Yet that first patient broke the floodgates.
She said, "Miss Elder, you don't have to go to that beer place no more. You come here. I know everybody." So that got spreaded over the community. So the community called the health department, told them, "Don't send no more of them damn white nurses. Send us the black ones."
Miss Elders is really a trailblazer for so many reasons. Having that responsibility of being a public nurse often meant that she had to travel to different communities, including white communities, and also servicing African American communities.
She always worked for her community and the children, down to challenging the county and the health department, which ultimately supported her efforts to get clean water to county residents and vitamins to children.
So I wrote some companies and got things, really going and upset there to do something about the well water and putting my children on vitamins. And the health department was right behind me.
Her role in this community has been one of a community mother, of a servant leader. Her work has transcended the medical field. I mean, she has done so much work to not only service African American communities and white communities, but also to be a steward of African American history and culture.
From launching the Charlotte Mecklenburg Heritage Committee to being a leader in providing opportunities for all women, TD has been a force to reckon with. On her walls are the pictures of the famous from around the world, and TD, well, she simply counts them as friends. And even when a friend like Maya Angelou needed a shoulder, she too leaned on TD. And all the while, this woman served her community.
I don't feel no waste time.
While the calendar tells her she's reached 90, she says her spirit tells her something else.
All my whole life, people was passing on education, how to, to get things done, how to accomplish. And that's the kind of thing I've always wanted to pass on.
For Thereasea Elder, the journey is nowhere near over. And she says she is no ways tired. For Carolina Impact, I'm B. Thompson reporting.
Thanks so much, B. Thereasea Elder remains active today. She established the Greenville Historical Society as well as the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Black Heritage Committee, both tributes to Charlotte-Mecklenburg's Black history.